Hey, Pastor Caleb, just going to do a quick devotional on this week's text. Last year was a big year for me. I turned 30 and also had my first kid. So it was a big year. It was my year of officially becoming old, I guess. Some will disagree, but it was kind of that marker for me where I'm officially an adult now. So I found myself sometimes longing for the good old days, back when I didn't have as much responsibility, or times were a little easier, I thought. And it got me to thinking. I love to hear people's stories about the good old days, and because they're just dripping with patina and just nostalgia, and they just make time sound so much better, and things were so much better back then. But the truth is, it wasn't always that great back then. And that's kind of where we find our text today. Paul and Peter are having a disagreement. Peter seems to want to revert to the good old days, back when we had the law. You know, we could know who was with us and who was against us based on their public displays of faith, how they ate, were they circumcised, things like that. And Paul is just vehemently fighting with Peter, saying, no, man, you know, Christ came, he died, we are saved by faith. We are not saved by works or by the law. And as a matter of fact, he says in chapter 2, verse 16, he says, we have believed in Christ Jesus so that we might be made right with God because of our faith in Christ, not because we have obeyed the law, for no one will ever be made right with God by obeying the law. He goes on to talk about how the law couldn't save us. As a matter of fact, the law condemned us. And to long for that condemns us even more. To rebuild the law that we broke down is not doing anybody any favors. So what ends up happening is we tend to second guess our new decisions when things start to get a little hard or our friends start to judge us. It's not always easy to live in these new rules, to leave behind our culture and our heritage and the things that we are comfortable with. And that's when we find ourselves longing for the good old days, because you know that's a time we understood. That's a time that we could wrap our heads around, so to speak. And what Paul is telling you is the good old days weren't so great. You know, the times before when we had to watch the commercials in our TV shows, and the time when we couldn't just text our friends anytime we wanted to, or we couldn't hop on the internet and literally find anything that we wanted to find. Things weren't that great. The good old days weren't that good. But this new decision that we've made to follow Christ, to be Christ-like disciples, this is the real thing. Even when it's hard, it's still good. So that's my challenge for you this week. Quit looking back to the past. Quit looking back to when things were maybe easier for us, or we think they were easier. We turned to this life of faith for a reason. We became followers of Christ because we knew this life that we lead had to change, or it was going to kill us. So that's my challenge this week, and look forward to seeing you guys on Sunday.